Hello, this is Roger. This video is going to show how to update the firmware on your Moxy sensor. So the first step we want to do is to download the latest version of the firmware from the Moxy website. So go to moxymonitor.com/downloads and then pick on the download firmware button. Then this will download the firmware to your downloads directory on your computer. And down here at the bottom you can say show in folder. And this will bring up our downloads folder. And here's the file we just downloaded. This happens to be version 0.7, but you can do this with any version of the firmware. And we right click on it and select extract all to extract the firmware. And it'll pick the default file name for us, and so we'll say extract. Okay, so that's done. We'll close this stuff up. Then we need to go to the Moxy PC app to do the firmware update on the sensor. So you need to connect the sensor to the computer using the USB cable, which I've already done. And when we start the Moxy PC app, it's showing me that it's my Moxy is at COM3, so I'll click on connect. When it connects, the update firmware button is now clickable, so I'll select that to update the firmware. And now I need to navigate to where we downloaded the firmware. So I'll navigate to the downloads directory, and this was the version 0.7 that I have just downloaded and extracted. And then I'll select the hex file and say open. And now this will take about 30 seconds for the firmware update to complete. If this process crashes during this portion of the process, there won't be any firmware on the sensor. And so what you'll see is there'll be no lights on the sensor when you try and turn it on. If that happens, you just need to restart the Moxy PC app and reconnect, and none of the fields will fill in, but the update firmware button will be lit up. And then just select update firmware and repeat the process, and then it should work properly. In this case, the download was successful, and so we say OK. And now if we want to check that we have the latest version of the Moxy PC app, we'll just restart, the latest version of the Moxy firmware, we'll just restart the PC app, reconnect, and now it's going to show that I have version 0.7 on the Moxy sensor.